It is Halloween and we are joined by local paranormal investigator Joanne Ellwood. Joanne is part of the Solway Paranormal Investigation Research and Intelligence team. Tonight, Joanne will answer your questions and tell us about her experiences.
My name is Joanne Ellwood. I have been in the paranormal field for over 10 years now, 7 years running my own team and also the Investigator for my own team, which is S.P.I.R.I.T UK. The long title for it is Solway Paranormal Investigation Research and Intelligence Team UK. We do a bit of everything, so it isn't just a case of going to a location and filming. It's a case of going to a location, filming, and the hard work when you get home. It's going with the footage time and time again to try and see off different cameras, same EVP, same spirit voices, same anomalies. So yeah, it's a bit of everything, and including research, so we'll go over the history as well. Some of it before, so you've got questions to ask during the investigation, and then again after. So if you get a recorded voice who says a name, then you then go back and research where that person fits into the story really.
Oh wow, so that's a lot of research going into it, isn't it?
A lot of research, yeah.
So how many are in the team?
At the minute there's 6, they tend to come and go. We usually have 7, but one's took a step back because she's got a lot of health problems, which is understandable. But at the minute there's 6. Like I say, it's some of them come and then they maybe have a chance to go somewhere else to work with another team, so when somebody else to step in. So the team members do tend to come and go quite a lot.
Okay. So I'm presuming you believe in the paranormal. Are there many skeptics that go into this line of work?
To do paranormal sort of investigations or research, you don't necessarily have to be a believer. I work alongside, what I would call a severe skeptic, those that just do not believe, and they basically will go with you, and whatever you say, this could be paranormal, they'll say, no it isn't, and they'll give you usually valid reasons as to why something isn't paranormal. I find it hard to work with. If you work with somebody who is overly belief, so you'll go somewhere and you get a real tap, oh my god, that's a ghost. It isn't usually. You need to be around people that are balanced, so you can go in somewhere not expecting a haunting and then work backwards. So if things happen, then you've got to sort of say, well, could this be something else? Until you're left with no other options and you say, you can't explain that. And that's usually when you start saying, this could possibly be a haunting.
According to YouGov, 34% of British people believe in ghosts, and in a survey of 2,000, most believed they had had a paranormal experience.
So have you ever seen a ghost? Could you tell us about that?
We did one in Kilda Castle in Northumberland back in my early days with another team, and we had 2 lads on the team, and we were in the Duke study, all the women in the Duke study, and there's a little corridor and then into like a TV or a cinema room. And the 2 lads decided they were going to go down into the cinema room, but because we were talking amongst ourselves, it was pitch black. I just saw a shadow of a man at the bottom and didn't think nothing of it because there's 2 lads down there. But then I saw 2 torchlights coming from the TV room, which means both boys were accounted for in that room. So who created this shadow? And then when I acknowledged this shadow, he was sort of standing like this, and then he started to walk towards us. And again, because I wasn't expecting anything to happen, and it was quite early on in my career, my reaction was again to screech and then run and hide behind the nearest colleague. As I said, you take her, don't have me, have her. And it was all done in jest, it was a laugh, but that was probably one of the first experiences that I had that was visual, rest of being basically noise. So that did kind of spook me. But at the same time, it drives you on.
So what made you want to become an investigator?
I've had an interest in paranormal since primary school. The first book I ever bought was a book of the world's greatest ghosts, so that was from about age 10. It's something that as well, if you asked anyone I went to school with, primary school or secondary school, you say, oh, Joanne's going to paranormal investigating, every single one would say, yeah, well, because it was expected.
Yeah.
I've always had a passion for it. Watching shows like Ross Haunted, you always sort of stay on the outside of it, so it's just an interest because you've not got no path. But seeing what they did, and I thought, I wouldn't mind doing that, and that sort of set something off. So as I've gone on, obviously I worked with other people first and saw how they did things, and then when I sort of, you took their mistakes they made, but you sort of develop your own theories, your own methods, and you work in part as another team, it's not so easy to do things your own way. So doing my own team, it basically let me have my wings and do what I wanted to do really.
So what's your view on kind of ghost hunting TV shows?
It's probably, that's really one of the most questions we get asked. I don't think it's really fair for me to sort of, so I think it's all done for show. I don't like questioning any team's integrity, whether it's on TV or just like teams like mine. The one thing that I am grateful for is because we're non-profit, we don't charge anyone to come with us for experience. We don't make any money from it. And I think with the TV shows, they've got to worry about ratings, and if they go down, the producer's going to say, look, you're not doing so well this season, you're going to have to make things happen. And that's when the integrity maybe starts to slip a little, because you then want to create activity, whereas we'll go somewhere and just if nothing happens, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most haunted place in Cumbria?
We've investigated many places in Cumbria, and you have those that have the accolade most haunted. So we've done one Castle Castle, Louder Castle at Penrith. We've done plenty of places, but we've even done Wedworth, out in Cockmouth. But those that tend to claim have a lot of spirits, we've done investigations in pubs, hotels, people's homes that are just as haunted. The two places I would say we've got the whole team we agree on, we had a lot of experiences in the Helen Thompson Museum we work in. We've been there, I can't remember how many times, but every single time we've gone something different's happened. We've had the best table tipping session, so we've did a seance and the table started to sort of slightly move, and then it really rocked. You've got to bear in mind it's a place full of antique furniture, including the table we're using. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, the team I'm with, are they insured? Because of this table plate, it was really, really rocking. And then the sofa that some of the guests were sitting on, it started to rock as well. And I'm blown away at this point. It wasn't my team at the time, I wasn't a guest, but it blew my mind. And I went back with my own team, and we actually recorded some footage where we did a seance on the same table, and this woman's head appears above our table. It's illuminated. And that's on our Facebook page. We didn't see it at the time, it was on the footage. But every time we've gone, another one of those scariest experiences I had was in there. When we first started up, we decided we have two major rules. The first rule is nobody goes anywhere on their own. It isn't in case we get scared, it's more a case if something happens to one team member and the other one can go and get help with the others. And the other one is if you get scared, not to overreact, which is what I feel at the time. So just sort of calmly leave, just walk away and let everybody else get on with the job. On this one occasion, we arrived slightly earlier than the rest of the team, me and my partner Mike. So we paired up and set up the cameras, went into the Victorian room where the table is, and I bent down on my own because Mike at this point had decided to not follow the rules and to stay back and talk to another team member, and I thought I'll manage it on my own, I'll be okay. Plugged the cameras in, set up the infrared light skill and night vision, went to press the button, and the room started to get a bit cold. And it's not something that you'd necessarily notice, but it went cold very quickly. It's like when you breathe in, you could see your breath. And then I felt somebody move the hair from my ear, and this man went right in my ear. Now bear in mind, I'm the only person in this room, everybody else is down the corridor. I just sort of stood up and I thought, no, that isn't a good thing. So I said, no, I don't like that. And I slowly started to walk out of the room. I got around the corner and I ran for my life down the corridor to everybody else. You know, you see a ball when they're down that corridor. I ran into the room and I'm like, oh my God, you're not going to believe, you know, what's just happened to me. And everybody else was like, you know, I'm thinking, you're all saying that and you weren't there, and you completely dismissed what I just said, but it felt horrible. And after that, it spooked me that much. It was the same investigation as the head appeared, but that wasn't too bad. But from that point onwards, I thought, I'm not doing this on my own again. If I'm made a rule, I'm going to stick with it. And to be fair, we haven't seen it, we've never done that, we've always gone in pairs. But that, yeah.
So, have you sensed anything here with us tonight? Or
You have at least one. When I came up the stairs, I thought I'd heard a footstep when we came up, following us coming up the stairs. But yeah, you're not going to come in and say to people, oh, there's a footstep behind me, because you're not prepared for it neither.
Yeah.
Whether they're still around now, it's hard to tell. The staircase, for whatever reason, the staircase is a big thing, but on the stairs you certainly had something tonight.
No. Well, that's incredible. And I think you freaked us all out straight away.
That's what it does for me.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant.
If you want any details or you feel you have a haunting, you're quite welcome to contact us. We have a Facebook page, probably the easiest way, just S.P.I.R.I.T UK. So just find us on Facebook and get to us that way and it's we'll investigate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Joanne's story certainly creeped us out here at HOLLR. Have you had any paranormal experiences of your own? Let us know in the comments.